Hey folks, this is old Texas Paul. Got the code red shirt on today. We need to have a talk. You and your kids, your children are in danger, and we need to have a talk about it. Before we do, let me introduce you to Eric Greitens.
I'm Eric Greitens, Navy SEAL, and today we're going rhino hunting.
That's Eric Greitens. He's running for Senate in Missouri. He used to be the governor of Missouri. He was disgraced, run out of office. Well, no easy way to say this. He was into some crazy bondage stuff. He tied up his mistress, took pictures of her without her consent. No easy way to say this. He forced her to have oral sex, and then blackmailed her with the pictures, threatened to release the pictures if she ever said anything about the affair. He also, according to his ex-wife, bought a gun, hid it so that the authorities couldn't find it, and blackmailed her not to say anything negative about him, or he would commit suicide. So yeah, this guy is insane, and he's running for Congress. And he's talking about murdering his political opponents.
Join the MAGA crew, get a rhino hunting permit. There's no bagging limit, no tagging limit, and it doesn't expire until we save our country.
If you don't know what a RINO is, it's what they call a Republican in name only. And if you've been following the news, you know that the radicals in the MAGA movement have been attacking people like John Cornyn at the Texas GOP convention. Dan Crenshaw got attacked. They're eating their own and becoming more radicalized. And this is where it starts to get really scary, folks. You know, the other day we had a video from Lauren Crackhead Barbie. We all made fun of her for not knowing that the Constitution is what guarantees your rights.
The Constitution does not guarantee us freedom. The Constitution does not guarantee us rights.
She didn't misspeak when she said that, folks. She absolutely meant what she said. She and the Republican establishment, the now establishment, the MAGAs, have decided that this is going to be a Christian theocracy. And that language is something that you're hearing more and more. Your rights are not guaranteed by the Constitution, because when they win, not if, they engage in their fascist takeover, the first thing they're going to shred is the Constitution. And they're going to do it under the authority of God. And that's where she says her rights come from. That language is pretty damn common also in the white supremacist movement. And we've talked before about how closely married the Christian nationalist movement and people like Greg Locke, let me introduce you to Greg Locke, who hates Democrats and is more than ready to engage in a Christian nationalist government. Then you have this rhetoric from Lauren Crackhead Barbie, you know, and where does it lead? You know, it leads to the white supremacist movements that are married to the GOP via their rhetoric. If you listen to what the white supremacists say, it's always immigrants are coming to take your welfare. It's God told us to have a white national state, that we whites need our own state. And it's ordained by God. It's in the Bible. You know, this is what they preach. This is what they preach. And they're coming after your children. You know, for the longest time, these movements like, you know, you've got Vanguard America. You had a group called Identity Europa that's rebranded themselves as the American Identity Movement. And, you know, we all saw the arrest of the Patriot Front, you know, these guys. They all have been recruiting at colleges, but the colleges have been doing their best to police it. they go and tear down the propaganda that these guys post up around campus. The problem is these guys have figured out, Identity Europa had their communications hacked, and they specifically said trying to infiltrate the GOP directly is broke. Infiltrating Turning Point USA is woke. And Turning Point USA is another one of these nationwide youth groups, conservative youth groups, that are in high schools and colleges all over the country. They boast over 1,000 chapters. Then you know, they claim to not be a white supremacist movement, and they aren't designated a white supremacist movement because whenever they publicly have one of these wackadoodle white nationalists outed, they throw them out. But they're there, and the white nationalists themselves tell you they're there. And it's easy recruiting for them because listen to the rhetoric of Republicans. You know, we need to get rid of welfare. We need stronger laws to put criminals in jail. And when they talk about criminals, they're always talking about people of color. They talk about the anti-immigration rhetoric about we need to secure our borders, which means we need to shut our borders. We need a white nationalist state. It's easy for them to infiltrate these groups. It's easy for them to talk to young white men and start out with just the Republican rhetoric and then coax them over to the nationalist movement. And that's how they're recruiting. You know, we all thought these old racists would die off. And when we saw like groups like the Patriot Front arrested, we thought, I got so many comments, man, look at these guys, they're young. How did this happen? How in a society today that is so, aware, so awake, so woke, we believe, and not hating our LGBTQI brothers plus brothers and sisters. We believe in multiculturalism. Everybody does better when everybody does better. How did we get these kids in these movements? Well, they're coming after your kids at school. And you need to be aware of that. You need to be aware of that. And what's so scary about it is, as they succeed, it will be the most radical. It will be the Eric Greitens that are willing to be violent. It will be the most radical, the white supremacists who are willing to do anything. Look at Oklahoma City. That was a white Christian nationalist. They're willing to do anything. They will take power. Greg Locke will be the church that runs this country. You have to vote Democrat, folks. You have to vote Democrats. And more than that, you need to help us. I'm on a mission. You see that subscribe button down there? I'm on a mission to get MeidasTouch and the Meidas Media Network 1 million subscribers. There's a political tactic that the Republicans use constantly. It's called filling the space. And whenever there is something that they're caught at that's just horrible, what they do is they flood the airways with nonsensical attacks. Look over here at this shiny object. Look over here at this shiny object. Trump used to do it all the time. Whenever he would get in trouble, he would do something horrible to someone to fill the space so that we weren't talking about that really awful thing he did. We need your help by hitting the subscribe button, by supporting MeidasTouch, by supporting creators like me, commentators like me. We need to fill the space with good information. Everything I've just told you, you can verify. And it is the truth. Your children are in danger. They are being indoctrinated right now in high school and college. And you need to have a talk with them. And you need to tell a friend. We've got 330,000 subscribers right now. If you just get a family member and a friend to subscribe, tell them about Old Texas Paul and MeidasTouch. we'll meet our goal. So folks, help us fight this fight. It's you that can do this. Vote Democrat. Support Democrats. Volunteer for Democrats. Help us out at MeidasTouch. Help me out as a creator. Hit that subscribe button and spread the word, and we will stop the radicalization of our country. You know, folks, it wasn't that long ago. Iran used to be a cosmopolitan country. Women used to run around with beautiful hairdos. They bought their fashions in Paris. And look at it now. Because the most radical took over. We can stop that from happening here. We can stop that from happening here if we act now. And that's what I need your help with, folks. Hit the subscribe button. Get 2 friends. 3 would be better. A family member. Send them to listen to Old Texas Paul. And let's make this happen. Let's fill the space with truth and real patriotism. I love you folks. Old Texas Paul out.